Picture this. You walk into a room full of strangers. Within the first 7 seconds, every single person has already decided whether you're worth their attention. 7 seconds. That's all it takes for the human brain to make a snap judgment about your status, your competence, your likability. Most people never recover from a bad first impression. But what if I told you there's a psychological edge, a hidden force field that makes people recognize you instantly as someone important? Not through manipulation, not through fake confidence, but through understanding the primal circuits in the human brain that trigger instant recognition and respect. Today, I'm going to show you the science behind what makes certain people magnetically memorable while others fade into the background. And more importantly, how you can engineer this effect in your own life. Let's dive in. Section 1. The recognition instinct. Before we talk about how to command recognition, we need to understand why the human brain is wired to recognize certain people instantly. And it all comes down to survival. Our ancestors lived in tribes of about 150 people, what anthropologists call Dunbar's number. In these tribes, being able to quickly identify who mattered was literally life or death. Who's the leader? Who's the threat? Who's the ally? Your brain had to answer these questions in microseconds. Fast forward to today, and that same wiring is still active. Your brain is constantly scanning for social hierarchies, for competence signals, for threat versus opportunity. This happens before conscious thought, before logic, before reasoning. Neuroscientist David Eagleman discovered that the brain processes social status cues in the amygdala in just 39 milliseconds. That's faster than the blink of an eye. Your brain is making assessments about people before you even realize you're looking at them. This is why certain people seem to have an aura or presence. It's not magic, it's not charisma in some mystical sense. It's the accumulation of dozens of microsignals that trigger the ancient recognition circuits in everyone around them. The question is, what are these signals, and how do you activate them? Section 2. The status tells. Let's get specific. What exactly does the brain look for when determining who deserves instant recognition? Research from Princeton University identified 2 primary dimensions the brain uses to evaluate people within milliseconds: warmth and competence. But here's the critical insight most people miss. It's not about being the warmest or the most competent in absolute terms. It's about displaying these qualities in ways the primitive brain recognizes. First, the posture paradox. Harvard researcher Hummy Cuddy found that people who adopt expansive postures, taking up more physical space, are perceived as more powerful and confident. But here's what's fascinating. This isn't just about how others see you. When you adopt these postures, your testosterone levels increase and cortisol levels decrease. You literally become more confident at a biochemical level. People with instant recognition don't shrink. They don't make themselves smaller to accommodate others. Watch anyone who commands a room. They stand with their shoulders back, their head level, their movements deliberate. They occupy space without apology. But there's a nuance here. It's not aggressive expansion. It's calm expansion. The difference between a peacock and a lion: one is trying too hard, the other simply is. Second, the eye contact algorithm. Your eyes are the most powerful status signal in your entire behavioral repertoire, and most people get this completely wrong. Research from the University of Wolverhampton found that people perceived as leaders maintain eye contact 60 to 70% of the time while speaking and 80 to 90% while listening. But weak eye contact, either too little or too much, triggers discomfort in the observer's brain. Too little and you signal submission, insecurity, deception. Too much and you signal aggression or social awkwardness. The sweet spot is what I call weighted eye contact. You look away naturally to think, to emphasize a point, to give the other person space. But when you're listening, when you're making a key point, your eyes lock in with calm intensity. People with instant recognition have mastered this dance. Their eye contact says, "I see you, I'm not afraid of you, and I'm not trying to dominate you." Third, the voice of authority. Margaret Thatcher famously lowered her voice by 60 hertz after voice coaching to sound more authoritative. Why? Because the human brain associates deeper voices with higher status. Studies from Duke University found that CEOs with deeper voices manage larger companies and make more money. The reason is evolutionary. Larger bodies produce deeper voices, and larger bodies signaled greater physical capability in our ancestral environment. But it's not just pitch, it's pace. People who speak too quickly signal nervousness, eagerness to please. People who speak too slowly signal low processing speed. The recognition sweet spot is a measured pace with strategic pauses. Listen to any great speaker, Barack Obama, Morgan Freeman, Maya Angelou. They pause, they let silence do work. They understand that the space between words carries as much weight as the words themselves. Fourth, the scarcity signal. Here's a counterintuitive truth. People who are always available never command recognition. The brain interprets constant availability as low value. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. The high-status individual in the tribe, the chief, the shaman, the master craftsperson, these people had demands on their time. They were selective. They were scarce. Robert Cialdini's research on influence shows that scarcity increases perceived value exponentially. When you're always the first to respond, always available for coffee, always saying yes, you're signaling that your time isn't valuable because no one else wants it. People with instant recognition understand strategic inavailability. They respond, but not immediately. They're helpful, but selective. They create the psychological impression that access to them is earned, not given.
Section 3. The competence display. Status signals get you noticed, but competence signals get you respected, and there's a crucial difference. The demonstration principle. In a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that people who demonstrate competence through action are rated 40% higher in leadership potential than those who merely claim competence. This is the show, don't tell principle on steroids. When you walk into a meeting and immediately solve a problem everyone else was struggling with, you've created what psychologists call an aha moment in the observer's brain. That moment gets encoded into long-term memory associated with your face, your name, your presence. People with instant recognition are walking demonstrations of competence. They don't talk about what they know, they show it. They ask the question no one else thought to ask. They spot the pattern everyone else missed. They make the connection that seems obvious only after they've made it. The preparation tell. There's a reason people can instantly tell when someone truly knows their stuff versus someone who's winging it. The brain is exquisitely tuned to detect expertise. Research from MIT shows that experts use different cognitive strategies than novices. Experts think in patterns and principles. Novices think in steps and procedures. And this difference is visible in how people speak, gesture, and respond to questions. When someone asks you a question and you immediately know the answer, your response time is faster, your body language is more relaxed, your explanation is more conceptual. The brain of the observer picks up on all of this subconsciously. People with instant recognition are almost always over-prepared. They've done the work. They know the material cold. And because they know it cold, they can be relaxed and natural. Mastery creates ease. The frame control factor. This is perhaps the most powerful competence signal of all, the ability to define the frame of a conversation or situation. A frame is the lens through which reality is interpreted. When you control the frame, you control the meaning, and people who control meaning are instantly recognized as leaders. Example: a junior employee presents an idea in a meeting. The senior executive responds, "That's interesting, but the real question is..." And just like that, the frame has shifted. The executive has defined what the real question is, and everyone else follows that frame. This isn't about being domineering.
It's about having such clarity on what matters that you naturally guide conversations toward substance. You're the person who cuts through the noise, identifies the core issue, and reframes confused situations into clear choices. People with instant recognition do this constantly. They're frame setters, not frame followers. Section 4. The warmth factor. Now here's where most alpha male or boss babe advice goes completely wrong. They obsess over status and competence signals, but completely ignore warmth, and that's a catastrophic mistake. Research from Harvard Business School shows that warmth is actually evaluated before competence in most social situations. The brain's primary question is this person friend or foe? Only after establishing warmth does the brain ask, can this person help me? People with instant recognition understand that warmth isn't weakness, it's strategic trust building. The name memory effect. Dale Carnegie wrote in How to Win Friends and Influence People that a person's name is the sweetest sound in any language to them. But there's neuroscience backing this up. When someone hears their own name, the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with self-referential thinking, lights up. You're literally activating the part of their brain that thinks about themselves. People with instant recognition make you feel important by remembering your name, your last conversation, specific details about you. This creates what psychologists call reciprocal liking. When you make someone feel valued, they automatically value you back. The authentic interest signal. Here's a truth bomb. You can't fake genuine interest. The human brain has micro-expressions and inconsistencies in behavior. When you're pretending to care, people can sense it. But when you're genuinely curious about someone, asking questions because you actually want to know the answers, the entire dynamic shifts. Your body language opens up. Your questions get deeper. Your responses are more thoughtful. People with instant recognition have cultivated genuine curiosity about others. They understand that every person has a story, a struggle, a unique perspective, and by drawing that out, they make themselves memorable. The vulnerability paradox. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive warmth signal, strategic vulnerability. Researcher Brené Brown found that vulnerability doesn't signal weakness, it signals strength and authenticity. When a leader admits a mistake, acknowledges uncertainty, or shares a personal struggle, it humanizes them. It creates connection, and paradoxically, it increases respect rather than decreasing it. People with instant recognition understand that perfection is boring and unrelatable. They share enough of themselves, their failures, their doubts, their growth, to create genuine human connection.
Section 5. The consistency principle. None of these signals work if you're inconsistent. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. It's constantly looking for reliable signals to predict behavior. The reliability reputation. Research on trust formation shows that consistency is more important than intensity. Someone who shows up 80% of the time consistently is trusted more than someone who shows up 100% sometimes and 40% other times. People with instant recognition are reliable. They do what they say they'll do. They show up when they say they'll show up. They deliver on their commitments. This creates a reputation that precedes them. When your name comes up in conversation and someone says, "Oh, they're solid, they always deliver," you've created instant recognition. People know what to expect from you, and what they expect is excellence. The values alignment. The brain also looks for consistency between stated values and demonstrated behavior. When there's alignment, trust forms. When there's misalignment, suspicion and skepticism emerge. People with instant recognition have done the internal work to understand their core values, and they live by them visibly. They don't just talk about integrity, they demonstrate it in small daily choices. They don't just claim to value people, they actually prioritize relationships. This values-behavior consistency creates what psychologists call authentic presence.
People can sense you're the same person in private and public, in victory and defeat. Section 6. The engineering process. So how do you actually engineer this psychological edge in your own life? Let's get practical. Step 1. Audit your signals. Record yourself in conversation. Watch it back with the sound off. What do your body language, facial expressions, and gestures communicate? Now watch it with sound. What does your voice, pace, and word choice communicate? Most people have never done this exercise, and they're unconsciously sabotaging themselves with low-status tells they don't even know they're sending. Step 2. The 90-day calibration. Pick 3 signals to work on intensively for 90 days. Maybe it's posture, eye contact, and speaking pace. Maybe it's preparation, follow-through, and remembering names. The key is specificity and consistency. You're rewiring neural pathways. That takes time and repetition. Research shows it takes 66 days on average to form a new habit, so 90 days gives you buffer. Step 3. Get feedback loops. You need external calibration. Ask trusted friends or colleagues, what's the first impression I make? What do I signal? What could I improve? This is uncomfortable. Do it anyway. The gap between how you think you're coming across and how you actually come across is where growth happens. Step 4. The environment design. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to develop instant recognition, surround yourself with people who have it. Study them. Watch how they move, speak, interact. The brain learns through observation and imitation. Put yourself in environments where high status, high competence, high warmth behavior is the norm. Step 5. The compound effect. Here's the beautiful part. These signals compound. Each one you master makes the next one easier. Confidence from better posture improves your eye contact. Better eye contact improves your speaking voice. Better speaking makes you more memorable. Being more memorable leads to more opportunities to demonstrate competence. It's a virtuous cycle, and it accelerates over time. Let's bring this home. The psychological edge that forces instant recognition isn't about manipulation. It's not about faking confidence or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding how the human brain actually works, what it looks for, what it responds to, what it remembers, and then aligning yourself with those psychological realities. You're already sending signals every moment of every day. The question is, are you sending the signals you want to send? Or are you unconsciously undermining yourself with tells you don't even realize you're broadcasting? The person who walks into a room and instantly commands attention isn't lucky. They're not born with some magical gene. They've simply mastered the language the brain speaks, the language of status, competence, and warmth. And here's the most empowering part. This is entirely learnable. It's not about changing who you are. It's about becoming the most powerful, authentic, effective version of yourself. 7 seconds. That's what you get. Make them count. Start today. Pick one signal, master it, then move to the next. In 90 days, you'll be a different person. In a year, you'll be unrecognizable. The psychological edge is yours for the taking. Now go claim it. If this video helped you understand the science of instant recognition, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on psychology, influence, and personal development. Drop a comment below telling me which signal you're going to work on first. I'll see you in the next one.